In the early morning of March 11, 2012, a chilling discovery is made near the Jordan River. As police investigate, they uncover a web of lies and deception. Just when they're about to solve the case, their main suspect vanishes. But the vanishing suspect isn't the only surprise. The investigation also reveals someone went to great lengths to frame another person for murder as an act of revenge.
911, what is the address of the emergency?
I'm at the river bottom at 126 South, where the river bottom trail is, and there's some pools of blood. And I'm guessing it's just an animal, but in the water right by the river, there's like a red kid's shoe in there.
When the police arrived, they examined the pools of blood on the rocks, but dread consumed them. Their worst fears materialize as tests confirm the presence of human blood. Despite their relentless pursuit, the trail remains cold, and they find no one. Hours later, they stumble upon a haunting sight across the river, the lifeless body of a young girl drifting silently, a shocking testament to the unfolding tragedy.
The first call in this case came from a runner who was on the Jordan River Parkway. He was running on a trail that parallels that river.
When I arrived, there was a red shoe found floating in the river right next to the blood. Very suspicious. First thing I could do was let's make sure that this blood is human blood and it's not animal blood.
4972 West 23rd Street.
Comes back, it's human blood. So then we realize something bad has happened. This is really bad.
An autopsy confirmed the child died from multiple blunt force head injuries. Notably, she wore a shoe that matched the one found by the jogger, who called it 911. To identify the victim, the police held a press conference, sharing crucial details in hopes someone would provide valuable information. Meanwhile, a mile away, Anne Kasprzak watches the news and her blood runs cold. Could this be her daughter, Annie? 15-year-old Annie lives with her mother, Veronica, and stepfather, James. On Saturday night, Annie greeted them as they returned from dinner. Everything seemed normal as Veronica showered and James stayed in the kitchen. At 7:45, he saw Annie head to her room. By 8:40, while on the phone with her sister, Veronica realized she hadn't seen Annie since they got home. She checked Annie's bedroom and found it empty. Alarmed, she called James, who rushed up with a note he found. In it, Annie revealed she had left for California, confessing she had lied about being pregnant and could no longer bear the weight of the lie. With hearts racing, Veronica and James called the authorities to report Annie as a runaway.
Unified Police Department, I need to report a runaway. My daughter is missing.
Desperate for information, Veronica reached out to Christopher Bagshaw and his boyfriend. Christopher denied knowing Annie's plans, but seemed to know more than he admitted. After a sleepless night, Veronica watched the news and realized Annie might not have made it to California. The uncertainty sent shivers down her spine. She contacted the helpline and informed the police, providing every detail.
We're giving the police the things that we have in the house. We give them all of our computers that she's had any contact with so that they can see if she's been messaging anybody. I think they take like a tote full of papers with them. And in that are some of her journals. Her journals are her way of saying what's going on, and if she's had any private conversations, they would be in her journal.
The police asked a crucial question: did Annie wear braces? Veronica sobbed, yes. DNA results soon confirmed the heartbreaking truth: the victim was indeed 15-year-old Anne Kasprzak. Annie's decision to run away became a pivotal element in the investigation, shedding light on the tragic circumstances surrounding her fate. To understand Annie's motivations, investigators visited her grieving family and uncovered her troubled past. Annie's early life was unstable, moving between foster homes and child services centers. Anne Kasprzak, then a child services employee, became her case manager and later adopted Annie with her husband, Dennis. Despite their subsequent divorce, Annie found solace in their love and care. Investigators gathered items connected to Annie, including her notes, computers, phones, and journals. Her journals revealed a profound obsession with her boyfriend, Christopher Bagshaw. Curious about their relationship, investigators spoke with Annie's classmates, who mentioned rumors of her pregnancy with Chris's child, the same pregnancy she noted in her letter. However, the autopsy confirmed she was not pregnant.
Well, the first thing they do is go to her room. They look at everything. They look in drawers, they look under mattresses.
Nevertheless, Veronica believed Annie's false pregnancy story reflected her desire for a permanent family. Investigators then questioned Chris, hoping he could shed light on Annie's actions. With a search warrant, they visited his home. However, since he was a minor, Chris's father, Darwin Leroy Bagshaw, attended the interrogation with him. Chris candidly discusses his relationship with Annie and details his whereabouts on the night she disappeared.
When was the last time that you saw Annie?
Wednesday or Thursday of last week.
Do you remember what time?
I don't. I know that it was after school, and she had to go home around 6.
Okay. When's the last time you spoke with her?
The night of Saturday.
Do you remember what time that was?
Around 8.
How many times did you talk to her that night?
I talked to her twice, but she called me 4 times.
How long do you think your conversations were with her?
5 or 6.
5 or 6 minutes each, or?
Well, yeah, each.
What did you guys talk about?
She asked me to run away with her, and I tried to convince her not to, and told her that was a stupid idea, and to think about her family.
Tell me about what kind of rumors were out there about you and Annie.
The rumors said that I got her pregnant, but I didn't.
When did you find out? Or when did she start telling you that?
That what?
That she was pregnant with your baby?
She didn't start telling me, she started telling everybody else. Around a month after she had with LJ.
Annie had written about LJ in some of her journal entries. Though this is the first time LJ is mentioned in the questioning, he will play a crucial role in the investigation.
When did she tell you that she was pregnant?
Around a month after.
About a month after? When do you think that was? About what month?
Well, she had with LJ in November.
Tell us more about how you know about her. LJ in November.
She told me that she didn't want her family to find out that she had LJ sneak into her house, and that's because they knew LJ was 17. So she asked me if I could take blame for her.
As the interrogation went forward, Chris appeared tense, gripping the arms of his chair. He leans back, seemingly disengaged. While everyone reacts to death differently, the detective likely notes his detachment.
How many times did you have with Annie?
Once.
When was that?
The night that we hung out at Spencer's house.
And where was, about what month or day?
It was Wednesday or Thursday of last week.
Wednesday or Thursday of last week?
Yes.
Meanwhile, Christopher volunteers to provide more information about an incident at Spencer's home, which makes this case even more fascinating.
Like when Spencer started dozing off, she had got a bloody nose, and it dripped on my shoe, and then she ran into the bathroom.
His father provided his own information.
And what did you do after 8 o'clock? Or where were you at when you were talking to her?
My dad had left to go to the bar, and I went to my grandma's at first.
Oh, what time do you think you?
Saturday night. I imagine I left probably about 6 or 7.
What bar did you go to?
The Lazy Dog Saloon.
And so did you leave right when your dad left?
No, I stayed home and I played the video game for a little while.
For how long do you think?
An hour and a half.
Was anybody else there with you?
No, it was just me.
Anybody call you while you were there, do you remember?
No. And then afterwards I went to my grandma's house, which is only 3 doors down.
I called you that night.
Oh, you did?
Because I told you I was going to have company.
Yeah.
You were sitting at my grandma's house.
What time
You asked him to stay with her?
Yeah.
What time did you call him, you think?
Oh man.
It was like 8 or 7.
Yeah.
Like 7:45 to 8.
I'm not real positive on the exact time that I called him.
And so when he called you, did you go right over to your grandma's?
No, I stayed home for a little bit and I played the video game because that was like in the hour and a half.
Besides his father and grandmother corroborating Chris's whereabouts, the police zero in on 2 crucial details: Annie's nosebleed at Spencer's house and her alleged relationship with another boyfriend, LJ. The police obtain a search warrant for Spencer Crittle's home. As a close friend of Chris and Annie, Spencer becomes a person of interest and is brought in for questioning.
On that day, Saturday, you had talked about Annie coming here. Annie calling you and you weren't here. Tell me about that. What were you doing that day?
I went to the gym with my little brother.
Okay. With your little brother?
My older brother.
And how long were you guys at the gym?
For 2 hours.
2 hours?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
He's like, are you fine with going there for 2 hours? I was like, Chance, are you serious? He's like, yeah, man. I was like, we're not Marines.
Okay. And then, so then what time did you get back to the house?
Around 8:30.
Okay.
And then is that when you checked your messages?
Yeah, I went upstairs and about like 10 minutes, 20 minutes later, and there's like text messages and calling messages and everything. No text messages from Annie, just like 2 missed calls, I think, from Annie, and 1 voice message.
Okay. And then, do you have your cell phone? Is that the way I got the messages?
Yeah.
Do you have it with you here?
Yeah.
Do you mind if we take a look at it?
The thing is, though, unknown number tried calling me. There's the call logs. Unknown number. I just tried finding some way to get that voice message back or anything.
One thing an attorney will always advise you not to willingly hand over your phone or other devices unless the police have a warrant.
The gym on Saturday night. Then what'd you do?
Came home, my dad was like, "You guys hungry?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Want me to make you a pot pie?" I was like, "Alright, I guess." After I had pot pie, well, that's actually before, when my dad was making, I checked my messages. After Chance literally drained out my energy at the thing, I like fell asleep for a second on his bed. My dad's like, "Get up for the dinner." And after that, went up and got on the PS3 and just started watching Netflix and playing games. I kept the phone right there, just waiting for Annie's to be called. I'm just like, "Come on." Wait, the next day, nothing.
With their cooperation, the police was able to yield significant revelations. He substantiates Chris's statement by confirming that Annie did bleed from her nose when they were at his place and shares some intriguing information about LJ.
About whether you actually physically talked on the phone or had a chat with LJ. Did you ever?
Have a chat with LJ?
Yeah.
He just messaged me on his email.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. And so it was over email?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somehow he hacked into Annie's.
Okay. So it was Annie's email, and then, but it was from LJ?
Yes.
So how did you know it was LJ?
Because Annie the next day, well, he told me, but Annie
said, "This is LJ," or something?
Yeah. And I was like, "LJ, why are you on, Annie?" He's like, "Oh, I hacked into it." I was like, "Oh, well, that's perfect."
But you never had a physical, like a conversation with them about that?
No.
Okay. That was how long ago?
It was back in I think either late November or early December. It was one of those. I can't remember.
Is it out of the ordinary for you to get unknown calls? So you get them all the time?
Oh, well, sorry. I thought you said, do you usually get unknown calls? No, I don't.
So that's uncommon.
Yeah, that's uncommon. Unless it's one of my friends that are playing a prank on me, but they haven't done that in a long time, so I don't know who that could have been. Because I can't call back. It'll be like a no number. I'm like, whatever.
Do you know, does your dad ever, check does he have an account on T-Mobile online for phone bills and check like that, phone records? Does he?
Yeah, he actually tried searching up my phone record, and he couldn't, I think he found it, the call. I asked him, "Is there any way we can get the voice message, please?" And he's like, "No, it's not."
Well, the text email where he talked to LJ, whatever happened to that?
Well, since that was months ago, my phone just built up in the memory, and it goes berserk. I can't start taking pictures or anything. It says memory, so I had to clear it out. I always do that. Get too much call messages, it just clears out. So.
The critical details shared by both boys propel the police investigation forward, spotlighting LJ as the primary suspect in Annie's horrific murder. However, Spencer, Chris, and Annie's other friends have never seen LJ, limiting their ability to provide a physical description. Nonetheless, the investigators, with their extensive connections, swiftly activate their informant networks and surveillance systems to track down a 17-year-old with possible gang affiliations and links to anyone at Annie's school. After a strenuous week of relentless effort and exhaustive investigations, the team finds themselves at a dead end. Just as the pressure reaches its peak, an investigator receives a pivotal phone call, offering the long-awaited breakthrough in the seemingly insurmountable search. The caller, Joanna Franklin, a known participant in alleged credit card thefts, claims to have witnessed Annie's murder. She hopes to trade this information for the dismissal of charges against her. The ensuing, unprecedented footage of Joanna Franklin's interview unveils her startling revelations about the crime. She drops an intriguing story by disclosing her familiarity with the elusive LJ and introduces a new suspect into the investigation.
And I started freaking out, and they came out and she's like, "You can't do that!" She was upset, and then they came out and they're like, "Sorry," and she was like, and I was like, "You guys need to go." And that's when I said, "Hey, how about my turn?" She goes, "What?" And she started laughing, and I said, "Grab her face." There's a lot.
I would say 99% of the people that we've talked to said never do that over. And I'm sure you.
It wasn't. She left it in front of everybody. It wasn't over sex. Anyone wants to. She laughed in front of everybody, and she started laughing, and I started laughing. That's what it was. Every time I read in papers, she said, no, it's because she laughed at him.
I probably laughed.
You ask anybody, I always did. You ask anybody if you do over that, and they'll tell you, oh, yeah. A whole bunch of them. And I go, yeah, right there. He's like, I need it. I go, for what? And he's like, I just need it. And he grabs it, goes up the door, I walk outside, and he goes, wham, outside the side of her face. And she like falls into the wall. And I was like, so I went running on the side. And he's like, stay out of it. And so we like, just stay out of it. And I'm like, you can't be okay with that. And she's like, let's just go in the bedroom. Like, she was shaking, I was shaking. And that was the night
Was she hurt?
Yeah.
Was she bleeding?
Mm-hmm.
From where?
From her ears and her nose and her mouth. And then he kicked her when she was on the ground. And he had him like tie her up and put her in the back of the car. And they wouldn't come in. Like, what is that girl's name?
How did you know her?
How did I know her?
How do you know that it's our victim? How do you know that it's this girl?
I saw the picture of her.
Where at?
On the news. It was a couple days. Like, I was told that, like, 2 different stories. Like, oh, we took her home. We dropped her off, she's fine.
Watching Joanna, she is very animated. Her eyebrows move a lot as she talks, showing she's looking for approval from the officers while making intense eye contact. She speaks quickly, without many pauses, which could be because she really wants to get her story out, but it's also linked to substance use and some mental illnesses. Interestingly, she says LJ in that girl instead of Annie's name, though she names everyone else. When the officer starts asking questions, she gets more anxious, rubbing her head and ears and awkwardly rubbing her nose. Despite all her animation, she doesn't seem scared or worried.
That wasn't there before. And she went right into that wall. And blood was everywhere. All over the place. I remember, like, it'd be hard. Because pictures of the boys got broken. I didn't get new frames for them. And we kind of scooted back, and the table kind of scuffed across the floor. And I was like, the scuff on there. And I remember being like, no, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Because I was all worried about it, because I was a mess. And we all kind of sat there for a minute while I finished being pissed. Like, and he kind of stood up and he goes, dude. He goes, what are you doing? He goes, I don't know. He goes, laugh at me, stupid. And he kicked her. I'm like, what are you doing? And he goes, you go start. And Ashley came in and he goes, what the f happened? And he goes, your bitch laughed at me. He goes, she laughed at you? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, why'd she laugh at you? And he goes, I don't know. Why'd she laugh at me? And like, they just kind of stared for a minute. Ashley kind of looked at his head and he goes, I'm sorry. And I go, are you serious? And I stood up and he goes, I'm like, and he like was really concerned. So I sat down a second and I go, I need to go check on her. And he goes, no, you need to go get me some towels and a tarp out of the storage shed and shut your mouth. So I go get that. So I went and got that stuff and I walked back in there. He was sitting there and it was just pale white. Totally white, not moving. And I was like, what's wrong? And she goes, I think she's dead. And I go, what? I sat right next to her and I kind of moved her and she went like that. I was like, she's okay, she's okay. And I kind of moved her chin a little bit and like her jaw slid, like the way it shouldn't slide. And I was like, something, I just catch her up and put her on trying to fight, or whatever. And then I came out and he goes, so what's the damage, doc? And I go, she needs to go to the hospital. And he goes, can't do that. And I go, to go to the hospital. He goes, we can't do that. And I was like, what are you gonna do? He's like, call. So he called. On his phone. So he went in the other room, he was quiet, and he started like shouting. He's like, you stupid, call them and tell them to get the f over here, you get your f over here, and bring me some change of clothes. And LJ just sat on the couch. He just sat there. With like under the tarp. And they had him pull up.
Where was she at?
She was in the bathroom. We moved her from my side by the table to the bathroom to change her clothes. I wasn't okay like getting her undressed and I don't know why. Like, you're still at home? I don't know what else would I be. He's like, okay, I need to help you get some things cleaned up. And I'm like, Hannah, I can't do this. And he goes, yes, you can. You'll be fine. He's like, I'll make it worth your while. I'm like, no, you won't. He said, I can't do this. Like, I'm not like this. And he goes, this is exactly what you're like. He's like, and you'll help me with what I need. I'm like, he's like, so go over to Walmart or wherever if you need to go. We'll be open and get some bleach. I'm like, I have bleach. He goes, you have enough of it? I go, yeah. And so I went back and got the bleach and I came out with it. And I came do it and he had me pour it all over the wall. All the wall. And I scrubbed it and scrubbed it, scrubbed it, scrubbed it, scrubbed it. And then he had me do the baseboards and then all over the floor. And they went in the bathroom. He's like, you throw stuff away. And I go, those are my kids' stuff. And he goes, got blood on it. And I go, yeah. Okay, so we kind of took it all together and we ended up throwing it in the dumpster. And that was on Sunday morning.
You said you redressed her, right?
Mm-hmm.
You redressed her. Where'd that clothing come from?
Brought it. We'll bring it.
Joanna described the clothes Annie was wearing when her body was found, which matched perfectly. She told investigators that LJ and another person took Annie's body to the canyons in a Suburban. They came back saying she went swimming and wouldn't return. Joanna's description of LJ was the first the investigators had. He's shorter than her, Hispanic but looks white, and is 19 years old. Her information was a big breakthrough, confirming LJ's involvement in Annie's murder. Joanna also accused another man, John, who was a convicted felon and gang member. The investigators quickly got a search warrant for John's house. They found signs of a cover-up, freshly painted walls, removed carpet, and red stains on the doors. These findings matched Joanna's story. The police arrested John for questioning as Annie's family struggled with the shocking reality. John was then intensely interrogated by the police.
Brittany? Is her name Brittany?
No, it's Annie.
No, her name's
But you might know her as Brittany. Okay, tell me about Brittany.
Brittany. She's friends with Dude, did something happen to her?
Friends with who?
Dude, just tell me straight up, man.
I want to know what you have to say first.
And I'll think of everything you need to know, man, because she's hella cool, dude. That's Brittany. I'm pretty sure that's Brittany. She lives with Sal. Well,
Sal?
she stays with Sal. She's Mercedes' friend.
Mercedes' friend?
Yeah. And, dude, did something happen to her?
She ever been to your house?
Yeah, she just came to my house the other day. Did something happen to her?
On a scale of 0 being not at all and 100% positive that you know her as Brittany, where are you at on that?
8, dude. Pretty sure that's Brittany.
8 out of 10?
8 out of 10, yeah.
Or are you saying 80 out of 100? Either way.
Either way, it's the same thing. I'm pretty sure it's her.
10 being 100% positive, you're 8 out of 10 that it's her.
Dude, I swear to God,
Okay, hold on.
her phone number just texted me today.
I'll answer your questions
They
in a
called
minute.
me.
I'll answer your questions in a minute, but you got a text from her and a call from her today, or a
Yeah,
phone.
yeah, it's on
When's the last time you saw her?
That day.
That Saturday?
No, just like the day before I left, she came by my house.
So when was that?
And she's been staying at Sal's house downtown.
Who's Sal?
This dude named Sal, and Sal, I don't know Sal's real name. I just call him Sal.
Her boyfriend's supposedly LJ.
I don't even know who.
LJ or JL. You may know her as Brett. Her real name's Annie.
Okay.
You didn't see her the other day.
No, dude, I don't even know who Annie is.
Tell me about this girl being at your house last Saturday.
I don't even know. I think she's Britt, dude.
Okay,
She was at my house last Saturday. There's no young girls at my house, man.
No?
No.
Ever.
As far as I know, if they're young, dude, I send them out of there.
What if she looked older?
Well, that's just it, man. Did I do something? Am I supposedly did something to this person?
I have a concern. That's why we want to talk to you. I don't know
If
did or
you
one
guys
other
think
person
I did something, I'm telling you right now, I didn't. And if you feel like I have, then I need a lawyer then. Because obviously, what I'm saying to you, you're telling me that I'm not being honest with you, whatever.
Do you need a lawyer or not, or should I continue?
Continue, dude, but I'm just telling you, I don't know. I think that's Britt.
But if you say you
She's at
need
my
a
house
lawyer,
on-
I have
she's
to
at my
address that
house
now. I have
just
to
the other
respect your
day.
rights.
Yeah, I mean, but if you guys
Are
think
we
I
okay
did
talking or
something-
not?
If you guys think I did something to her, then hell yeah, I want a lawyer.
Okay. So do you want a
Because
lawyer or
I did not do nothing to nobody.
What if I told you she's dead?
I didn't do it. What the?
Exactly. Are we here to talk, or do you want a lawyer? Because you said the word lawyer twice. I need to know.
Well, then talk, man, but don't act like I know who this girl is. I'm telling you, it's Britt, dude. It looks just like Britt.
Okay.
And she did what though?
You don't remember
It's not.
telling
It can't
anybody
be
that
her
she went for
though.
a swim?
It can't be her, dude, because she just was at my house.
No, she's been dead for a week.
And she was never at my house. I had never seen this girl before then.
She's been dead for a week.
Did you tell anybody she went for a swim?
Who?
That girl.
No. And if somebody said I said that, they're liars, man. For real.
Let me ask you this. Did your wife get pissed here, it was probably just over a week ago, about some guy and girl having sex in your bed? Said
No,
that you guys
no.
don't have a damn house?
No, hold on. Nobody had my bed though.
Despite John's adamant denial of any involvement in Annie's murder or any association with her, his criminal record was enough for the police to keep him in custody while they gathered more evidence. However, when the DNA reports and phone records arrived, the case took a shocking turn. None of the blood samples from John's house matched Annie's DNA, and his phone record showed he wasn't near the area of her death. This left the investigators baffled and prompted them to re-interview Joanna. Under intense questioning, Joanna finally revealed the truth. John hadn't been lying, he didn't know Annie at all. Joanna, angry at John for cutting her out of a deal, had fabricated the story to frame him and secure immunity for her own crimes. John's alibi for the night of Annie's murder was another crime he was involved in, leading to his and his allies' plea of guilty to kidnapping charges. Joanna's false story misled the investigation for a year. The investigators then revisited previous tips. One witness saw a male on a bike near the river, leaning over the barrier. Another saw a young male at Rotary Park, shouting "won't get caught" and waving his arms. Christopher Bagshaw and his boyfriend had also reported threats from LJ. These tips pointed to a teenager's involvement, but the police still had no description of LJ and couldn't find him. Focusing on Annie's phone records, investigators discovered multiple calls from a block number on the night of her murder. This number, suspected to be LJ's, turned out to be linked to Chris. His bike matched the one described by a witness, and his absence from school on the day of the incident matched another sighting. A note in his trash detailed Annie's disappearance, suggesting his involvement.
We looked at everything and every avenue, and with everything that we have, we are confident that we have the suspect in custody for Annie's murder.
Chris. Hey, nice to meet you.
Is this an interview?
Yes.
I'm not in custody with that boy.
Okay. Well, we have a warrant for your arrest,
For
murder, and obstruction of justice.
I thought approving was over.
You didn't.
Further investigation revealed that Chris had fabricated LJ to make himself seem innocent. He admitted that Annie had made up LJ to make him jealous, and he used the same name to mislead the police. Chris's friend Spencer had unknowingly helped cover up the crime. Chris had even messaged Spencer to tell a story about Annie's nosebleed to avoid suspicion. The police found out that Chris had moved to Colorado and quickly went to interrogate him. Overwhelmed, Chris confessed.
Are you pleading guilty to the charge because you're guilty of it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then as to count 1, murder or first-degree felony, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
While we support the police department and the attorney's office, and we appreciate all the work that they have continued to do, it does not change what happened.
I'm very sorry for everything that's happened, and I want to apologize to Annie's family and to my family and to everybody in court today for putting everybody through this.
Still trying to put words into everything that has happened.
May you feel sadness. May you feel loss. May your tears heal your soul. But may your conscience never clear. I will grieve my daughter every day.
He admitted to killing Annie because he thought she was pregnant with his child. He had attacked her with a shovel and continued until she died.
What I saw there, Your Honor, wasn't my daughter. It was something that you would see being hit by a train. The facial trauma and the anger and the rage and the gravity of this crime and offense, impulsive or not, 14 or not, wasn't one hit with a shovel. It would have been repeated hits.
This was no accident, no impulsive moment of anger or fear. This was a thought-out, planned choice to rip Annie out of this world.
It wasn't just Annie's life that he took ours.
I came so close to not being able to take matters into my own hands, to not wait on justice.
When we die, Annie will die with us. She will never be a mother, an aunt, a grandmother, or even a lifelong friend.
Chris was arrested for first-degree murder and obstruction of justice. Although he was a minor at the time of the crime, he was tried as an adult and sentenced to 15 years to life in prison.
And so for the charge of murder or first-degree felony, I'll sentence you to an indeterminate term of not less than 15 years.
He will be eligible for parole in 2034.